Yeah, I went straight to it. No problem.
But it's the same thing. It's just that that's not a thing, your background.
Yeah, because I don't have that background on my iPad.
I'm in now. So everyone, he's back up on YouTube.
Oh, I don't want that. I can't see the chat.
I think because no one's chatting,
Oh,
I'll put something in there.
there it is. I'm gonna move this away from me. There it is. Hi, everybody. Hi, Robert, Teresa, Killer. What is happening? We are live. I did not see the article about the Alberta oil sands being dead. No, I did not see that. Did renaming the Gulf help the oil and gas industry? No, it just changed a word on Google Maps. That's all it did. Just changed a word on Google Maps. Hi, Andy.
So anyone over here, the chat's moving a lot slower over YouTube. If you want to go over there and ask your question, it'll be easier to see it because he may miss it on here. And while you're over there,
I will read it. Oil market outlook for the next few weeks. I think it's going to be stable. We had a bit of a dip yesterday, and then the United States came out and said they're going to start restricting oil from Iran, and so that'll probably stabilize the market.
so there's a question that says, "What is YouTube?" I have never heard that question before, and I do not know how to answer that. Do you?
What?
Yes, that's how I felt when I like YouTube is YouTube. I mean, You can use it through Chrome. Oh, it's Mr. Global. Mr._Global_oil expert. That's his account.
Do I think a crash is coming soon? I don't think a crash is coming, but you never know. Canada uses very little or refines very little bitumen. Still snowing. Yeah, they don't need it. They don't need it for their use. Politically speaking, what do you think the Democrats do strategically for the next 2 years? Probably fuck up as much stuff as they did the last 2 years. They're going to come out, they're going to talk about a bunch of shit that nobody cares about and they're sick of hearing, and they're going to lose again. Robert, they haven't even broke ground on that refinery, so from where they are right now, it's going to be at least 5 years. Hi, Virginia. The chat on this iPad is janky. It pops up and then disappears. It like fades. No, the Maple Pipeline will not lower energy costs. It just won't. I'm looking for a wife before ICE deports me. Well, good luck with that. Can you explain to people how bad it is to lose refining capacity in the United States? Well, when we lose refining capacity, then it keeps our inventory levels of available gasoline that's currently on the market, it keeps them low, which drives up gas prices. That's the main reason it's bad. Also, when we shut down for refinery maintenance, the rise in gas prices is significantly higher because we are already running under capacity. When we are running, the refiners have to run at much higher utilization rates. And so the refiners that are left running have to run a lot harder, and it's much harder on their equipment. It causes more breakdowns, it causes more failures. So basically, you have what you're left with is working as hard as it can to keep up, which drastically raises the risk for more failures. So you have all that going on. Refineries are not supposed to run at, over 90% capacity. They're not supposed to. When they do that, they're a lot less efficient. They break. They have failures, and so it's just not good. It's just not good. So this mic ain't even working, so it's not going to do me any good. I'm on an iPad. Who owns all the wells on Landman? I don't know. Not the people with Landman, but. Why aren't I a consultant talking to the representatives? You think that would help? Does New England get all of its oil and gas, natural gas from Canada? Not all of it, but a significant amount of it. Not all of it. It depends on what part of New England you're in. Yeah, definitely not John Hamm and Billy Bob Thornton. Southern New Hampshire, it's likely all from Canada. Likely. Any input on recent stock price drop in Enbridge? Good time to buy. Why is Lyondell in Houston closing? Because they can't make any money. They don't make any money, so they're closing. Thank you, Charlie. If you're in Denver, probably 75%, a 75-25 mixture of American and Canadian oil, if you're in Denver. Or US and Canadian oil, I mean. Thank you, Patrick. Is nuclear the answer to future energy? It can be, but I don't know if it's going to be. It can be. Hi, Jason. Is it possible for Canada to stop supplying the United States? Yes, it's possible. If I mean, all the oil companies will go broke. I guess if they want to fall on the sword to get some type of revenge on Donald Trump, this idea that everyone's just going to stop sending the thing that they make money on is just, you know, like, do you really think oil companies are going to stop selling oil because politicians are fighting with each other? Like, do you really think that? Do you think the oil companies care and are just going to stop? We'll just shut down. Fuck it. We're just going to stop making money. We're going to cut off the United States and go bankrupt in the process. I mean, just a ridiculous notion. It is an absolutely ridiculous notion that that companies in Canada are just going to stop selling 4.5 million barrels of oil a day to the United States. You know,
So Dan, he plans on making them. He just hasn't done it yet. People are asking about It's Not a Thing shirts and sweatshirts because Jan wants one and she's going to have one made. So you need to make them.
Okay. Will tariffs affect gas prices? So, okay, oil coming into the United States, say it has a tariff on it. The refiner pays that tariff, right? The refiner still has to buy the oil and refine it and refine it into gasoline, diesel, all of that, and then place it on the commodities market, right? They place it on the exchange where it will fetch whatever price it can fetch. The only way tariffs on oil from Canada into the United States would impact gas prices if that results in buyers in the United States buying less oil and producing less gas. And that is because refiners don't get to set the price of what they sell. And what that means is if there are, tariffs on these products coming in, it's not like a retail product where someone is buying it in the United States, marking up that tariff and then selling it. There is no markup. It's sold on a commodities market. So they can't just add the amount of the tariff to a gallon of gasoline. That's not how it works. So either two things are going to happen, right? The refiner either has to completely absorb the cost of the tariffs themselves, or the refiner has to purchase less oil and thereby put less gasoline on the market to thereby lower the inventory of gasoline in the United States and drive up prices all over the country. Does that make sense? Because it's not like a widget. If you buy a widget from China that has a 20% tariff on it, and then you go to resell it in the United States, you just add 20% to the retail price. But you can't do that with gas because it's a commodity. You can't do that with oil. It just gets sold on a market for the best price it can sell for. And so the refiners will, one, either have to completely absorb the cost of that, or two, have to adjust their production levels to try to make that tariff hurt their bottom line less, to try to hedge against that tariff somehow, right? So now the good thing is that Canadian oil is so cheap that even with a tariff on it, it's still cheaper than American oil. So I suspect, and it would also still be cheaper than the alternative. So if we decided to source oil elsewhere because of the tariff, that oil that we would have to source elsewhere would also be more expensive than the Canadian oil with the tariff on it. So I suspect they will just continue to buy the Canadian oil, and I suspect that the refiners will have to take the hit on the cost. That's what I suspect. But there could be a scenario where they produce less gasoline to try to drive up the price to try to offset their losses. And if that's what they do, and that's completely possible, if that's what they do, then it will increase gas prices. That's what it's going to have to take, because they can't just say, this is what we're going to charge. That's not how it works. I thought Canada was going direct to China and skip the U.S. They can't get all of their oil to China. They can't export over 4 million barrels a day to China. They don't have any way of doing that. They don't have the pipeline capacity to get that oil to China. That's not even a possibility. Um, and this is where they're stuck. This is where Canada is stuck because they don't have any options. They don't have any other buyers. And so if Canada could get that oil to the West Coast, then that would be a different story, but they can't. So wouldn't India take it? How would they get it to India? So you have 900,000 barrels a day of capacity going to the West Coast. That's all you have. So you can't turn that, you can't just say we're going to send more. You have 900,000 of capacity. That's all you can send, no matter who buys it, right? It doesn't matter if China buys it or India buys it or Japan buys it. 900,000 is all you can sell. You can't increase that number. That's all you can send them. That's all you can send them because that's all you can get there. So this, a lot of people think, well, we'll just sell our oil somewhere else. No, you won't. There's nowhere to send it. You have no logistics to get it anywhere else. That is the leverage that Donald Trump is using over Canada. That's the leverage that Donald Trump is using over Canada. The fact that they don't have the capability or the ability to ship that oil anywhere else. It's just not a thing. Do I see Canada ever building an east-west pipeline? Well, I mean, if this doesn't do it, like if everything that's occurring right now doesn't result in Canada expanding their access to ports on both of their coasts, if this doesn't do it, then they never will. You know what I mean? What would I just can't imagine a scenario where they would, other than this. Like this is, I think this should be the wake up call, right? Hey, we need access to more buyers. We need access to more ports. And yeah, it's a very difficult thing to do in Canada is to build this stuff. Lots of lawsuits. I mean, it's not that much unlike the United States with the lawsuits and everything else. Definitely on the agenda with the soon-to-be new prime minister. Hi, Shigu. Lots of tribal lands. Yeah. There's an enormous amount of challenges to building pipelines, even in places that are easy to build pipelines, much less places that are difficult. I would never, I would never oversee a pipeline project. That is something I would never do. I would just quit. I'd be like, I'm out. Y'all got this. Thank you, Sean. Do people get royalties from a pipeline? They typically get a one-time payment, so many dollars per foot when a pipeline crosses their land. And it varies by mostly how bad the pipeline company needs to go pass through that piece of land. It will affect the price that they get, but they get a one-time check, basically for an easement to lay pipeline across their land. Can you explain why they can only send the 900,000 barrels a day? Because that's all the pipeline, that's all the pipelines will carry. They won't carry any more. That's their maximum capacity. So they can't send more, you know. Like if you're shipping something in a truck, what you can fit in that truck is all you can ship, right? It's the same thing with a pipeline. That's all they can fit in the pipeline, basically. So they don't have enough pipeline capacity to send more than that. Do you think Canada will cut off the United States? No, they won't. It's not the Canadian government that's selling oil to the US government. It's Canadian companies selling oil to companies in the United States that they also own a piece of. There's not going to be any oil cut off. That I can assure you. How long would it take Canada to build a new pipeline? Years. How long did the freaking Trans Mountain take? Was that like 7 years or something? It takes a long time. It takes a long time, but with the volume of oil that they send to the United States, one pipeline's not going to do it. One pipeline is not going to do it unless it's a monster. Unless it's a monster. Is daily buying and selling of oil automated, or is it done? No, it's mostly done digitally now by contract. Can a pipeline be upsized once it's built? Typically what they do is you can't upsize the existing pipeline, but typically what they do is they just build another one right next to the one that's already built. And how long does it take to build a refinery? It depends on where it's being built at. And You know, it can take anywhere from 5 to 10 years. It just depends how many people file lawsuits, where's it at, what's the permitting look like, who owns the land, what's the land like, what's the local government like, what's the state government like. There's a ton of variables that go in determining how long it takes to complete a project of that size and scale and scope. Under Obama, inflation, you pointed out that under Obama, inflation was low, prices were high. How much did the 2020 OPEC deal push up inflation and prices? I don't know specifically like how much it contributed to inflation, but it essentially doubled oil prices. It basically doubled oil prices. Oil hit $120 a barrel after averaging about 60. Yes, Andy, if you build another pipeline right next to an existing one, it does simplify a lot of things because you already have a lot of agreements in place with landowners and things like that. Why am I positive on the future of natural gas? Because of how much we're going to need in the future, how much power we're converting to natural gas power, how much natural gas we're exporting, how much natural gas we're producing. Everyone in the industry agrees that natural gas consumption is going to start increasing faster than it has in the past globally. And there's nothing really to say otherwise. What is the Green Air Act? I think you mean the Clean Air Act. I haven't heard of the Green Air Act, unless it's a Canadian thing. In the United States, we have a Clean Air Act. I believe the Clean Air Act, 1970. The Clean Air Act basically set the standards for what we allow people to emit into the air in the United States for all different types of elements, you know, emissions, things like that. And it's been amended a few times over the years. Pennsylvania is making money incentives for natural gas power plants to be built there. Yeah, Pennsylvania produces a ton of natural gas, so it just makes sense that, you know, they produce their electricity with what they're producing in their state. Would it be wise to invest in natural gas companies? It depends on the company, and I don't really give investment advice, but if you were going to invest in the energy space, if you were going to invest in fossil fuels, natural gas is a pretty good investment, whether it's in the midstream space or the upstream space. Hello, Rio. How are you? Thank you. Thank you, user. Well, the purpose of the pipeline is to transport is to transport natural gas. But the the concept or the idea, okay, that pipelines lower prices is completely false. Pipelines do not lower prices. That is not a thing. It's never been a thing. It's never happened one time. But anytime anybody wants to build a pipeline, that's how they sell it. They tell you it's going to lower your prices. It's not. It's not going to lower your prices. It's going to lower their cost, but it's not going to lower your prices. Okay? We're still talking about commodities, right? You're still going to pay. They're going to make more money. You're going to pay. Okay? That's the rule of the day. Anytime you have ever heard someone say that a pipeline brings down the cost, that's not the cost for you. That's the cost of the company that's paying for the pipeline. It brings down their cost, right? It brings down their shipping cost. That cost is not passed on to you in no way, shape, or form. Okay? This is not a retail product. And if it was, they wouldn't mark it down. I'm telling you, there is not a single instance ever anywhere ever in history where a pipeline reduced the cost to the end user, to the last person purchasing that product. That has never happened one time, never, ever. It never has, and it never will. That's not a thing, okay? It, it reduced the cost of the person selling you the gas. Doesn't reduce the cost of your gas. They have to pay back that money borrowed to build the pipeline. Well, I mean, yeah, that's one way to look at it. A perfect example of pipelines not lowering the price of something is the Keystone Pipeline, the original Keystone Pipeline. And we were told for 2 years how it was going to lower our gas prices. The pipeline opened and our gas prices skyrocketed. Now, the gas prices didn't skyrocket because of the pipeline, but the pipeline didn't help with gas prices. It helped the companies that were putting that oil in the pipeline. It helped them with shipping costs because now they got a pipeline, which is much cheaper than rail, much cheaper than rail. But it did not help anybody with the cost of gasoline because that's not a thing. Gas prices after the XL, or not the XL, but the original Keystone, they went up by over $1 for like 4 years straight after it opened. And, they don't lower your cost. They're talking to somebody else when, when they say it's going to lower your cost.
So KG, you asked if he has a backup. The only backup he has is Mr. Global 2.0. That's it. Any other one, they're fake. Lock them. This and Mr. Global 2.0. No other.
That's right, Robert. Not a thing. Pipelines lowering prices are not a thing. At least for you anyway. It's lowering the price for somebody, but not you. Why isn't diesel cheaper than gas anymore? 2 reasons: ULSD, ultra low sulfur diesel, and demand. The demand for diesel is driven by the economy. The demand for gasoline is driven by cars, right? So as our economy expands, because diesel is an industrial fuel as well, not just a transportation fuel. The larger our economy grows, the more diesel we need. The larger the demand, the higher the price. All the shit that runs on diesel is why diesel is more expensive. All the shit that runs on diesel. Should we expect the price of gas to go up for summer more than normal? Yeah, probably, because a lot of it depends on where our refining capacity is at this summer. But we've lost one refinery. Another one is down. We don't know how long it'll be down, so I would expect gas prices to increase a little bit more than normal this summer. Assuming no other factors introduce themselves into the equation, like an economic crash or something. Is gasoline a byproduct of diesel? No. What happens to Canada's economy if Trump puts tariffs on oil? Nothing. We'll still buy the oil and we'll just pay more for it. The tariffs on steel and aluminum have a much larger impact than the tariffs on oil. Yeah, and lumber. Definitely lumber. Jill,
What?
I was being praised.
He was spamming. First time I just deleted his message, right? The second time he was out of there. Like, I deleted your message. You didn't see that? Stop spamming. Bye. And you know exactly you were reaching for it, but I beat you to it. Okay?
Okay. Prove it.
I seen you reaching for the screen. Like, I seen it.
I'm
you were reaching. You were going to get him.
okay. Yes, I'm the Lord of Gwarf. Didn't you know? What is Gwarf? Somebody tell the people of Gwarf I'm on my way. I am their Lord.
I want to start choking. I'm gonna mute.
And I will strike down those who attempt to destroy my brothers and sisters, for I am the Lord. Remember that, Jill?
Yes. Stop.
Dude, nobody's ever called me a Lord. Let me have this. Shit. Man.
Oh my God.
Come on, walk through the darkness with me. Come on.
I already am. I already am.
Walk towards the darkness. Don't fuck the light. Walk towards the darkness. It's safer over here.
It is safer in the darkness. I agree.
Oh, look, here's an Ethernet cable right here in my drawer. I didn't know I had.
Well, it's not long enough.
No, it's not.
That's right, Monkey Boots. I'm already there.
Jill was there before I was.
Seriously? No.
I followed Jill into the darkness, not the other way around.
No. And Buzzard, I'm gonna mute your ass.
Mute his
wait,
ass.
You're a mod. Buzzard is a mod. I can't mute him.
Fuzzard's a mod?
Yeah. That's because I kept muting him the last time. I think that's why you made him a mod. Don't unmod him. He was kidding around.
I already did.
You unmodded him?
Well, yeah. Have fun.
He's still a mod.
I just changed it.
No, look. Look in the chat.
There, I just changed it again.
I don't know who you unmodded, but
It was Fuzzard. Oh
Was
my
it Fuzzard?
God.
better not have been me.
Oh my God.
Oh, wait, who did that?
Did what?
Muted him.
Monkey Boots.
Damn it, Monkey Boots. You know I wanted to do it. I'll get him next time.
Welcome. Welcome to the darkness, Monkey Boots.
I was about to say, bah, ha, 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 after I got him, but then you went and did it.
Okay, my mom just texted me.
Okay, I'm good now. What'd your mom text you for?
She sent me a picture. It was a screenshot of a fake Mr. Global. Is this you? Like, seriously?
No, your own mom didn't even know. So that just
Yeah.
shows you right there how easily other people can
I'm
be
gonna
fooled.
have to tell her how disappointed I am in her.
No, you're not disappointed in her.
Doesn't know her own son.
Well, it's your picture, so of course she knows you.
She probably got some of that blue dream.
Maybe.
Oh, she did. She did.
Nadia said, "Are you not following your own mother?"
I don't know. I don't know.
No.
I'd have to
You
look.
should-
I think I am.
Okay. I gotta go back back to this YouTube and see what people are commenting.
I wasn't following my own moderator on YouTube, so.
I understand why. Following the wrong man too. Nobody, yeah, I don't know who said he was in the hospital. I think it was Bob, but yeah, it's not true.
Damn it, Global, mod me again.
This is why you modded him, because we kept muting him.
We're gonna have to. I gotta take a vote, Fuzzard. The mods have to agree on new mods, and technically, you would be a new mod. There's an approval process, Fuzzard. Fill out a mod application and get back to me.
Mod application and get back to me.
We'll submit it before the board and a hearing will be held. You will have a chance to defend yourself and make your case. What? Yeah, send the application to Jilly.
But you don't want the applications coming to me.
Oh, Fuzzard.
Yeah, of course, Bob. I knew it was Bob. See, Bob did not send Mr. Global to the hospital. There is an old video of Mr. Global being sick in the hospital. That's old.
Oh, Bob. What a Bob. I'm going to set a new goal.
Yeah.
What should it be?
Tiny Dinies.
And it's snowflakes.
All right. Yeah.
They're
'Cause
cheaper.
I'm sure we got some snowflakes in here. The snowflake is for Bob.
Hello, Amanshu Sharma. Oh, man.
Oh, yes, you are, Doc. Help Global meet his goal. It's a snowflake for Bob.
Do I think inflation is increasing? Well, the inflation numbers came out and they were higher. So I'm going to go with yes. Will they increase more next time? Probably, because gas prices are rising. So it will probably increase again. Could Trump help gas prices by authorizing more refineries? He could, but we wouldn't see that for 5 to 7 years. We wouldn't see that for 5 to 7 years. Would it make sense to build a pipeline to the top end of Lake Superior and ship it? Man, these messages keep disappearing on me. Ship it via Laker to the Atlantic coast to avoid Quebec. I guess anything's possible, you know. Be a lot of lawsuits. Be a lot of lawsuits. So what you're saying is for the next 5 to 7 years, we're fucked unless we get more refineries. No, I'm not saying that. A lot of other things that could happen to lower gas prices. But I suspect if we build a new refinery, about the time it opens, another one will close. That's ready for closure. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Goat. It might not be Lake Superior anymore. They might change the name to it. Can they drill in the Gulf of Mexico now, and will that help with gas prices? They always drilled in the Gulf of Mexico. That never stopped. That's not a thing. So they're drilling as much as they were 6 months ago. Like,
Monkey Boots said they're changing it to Lake Monkey Boots, and I unmuted to say they're changing it to Lake Jilly. Just saying. So it's going to be Lake Jilly and Monkey Boots, or Monkey Boots and Jilly, whichever. I don't care.
Yes, the Lyondell refinery in Houston closed. I think 252 or 256,000 barrel a day capacity. It closed. Lake Gooball. That may be a good name for it if they run a pipeline through it. May end up with goo balls everywhere anyway. I'm not a fan of pipelines through waterways, lakes, any type of water system. What do I think of India? India is the next China. India is the next China economically. All right, we're done. We're done. Thank you, everybody, for coming into the lives today. I really appreciate it. I got stuff to do. Hey, Pete, good to see you. I'll see you guys later. Y'all have a good one.